Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7, verse number 16. Chapter Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati. So there are a few verses that have no purport, so I'll read by myself. Verse number 21, we will chant together. Evam chintayatastasya magho no bhagavan grihat brihaspatir gato drishtam gatim adhyatma mayaya. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home. For Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra. Verse number 17. Guror nadhigati samgnam parikshan bhagavan swaradhyayan dhiya sureryukta Sharmanala bhatatmanaha. Translation. Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods, he could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, Alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune. Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. Tashrutvaivasura sarva ashrityau shanasammatam devan pratyudyaman chakrur durmada atatayinaha. Hearing of the pitiable condition of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of the Guru, Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods. Ter vishrishtishtubhistikshner nirbhinnan goru bhavavaha Brahmanam sharanam jagmu sahendra natakandaraha. The demigods' heads, thighs and arms and other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods headed by Indra saw no other course than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instruction. Number 20. Tams tatha bhyarditan vikshya bhagavan atmabhurajah kripaya paraya deva uvacha parishantvayan. Translation. When the most powerful Lord Brahma saw the demigods coming towards him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of the demons, he pacified them by his great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. Verse number 21, we will chant. Shri Brahmovacha Aho bata sura shrestha Yabhadram vakritam mahat Brahmishtam brahmanam dantam Aishwaryanabhyanandata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, O best of the demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from your material opulence, you failed to receive Brihaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of the Supreme Brahman and fully in control of his senses, He is the best of the Brahmanas. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted impudently towards him. Purport. Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualifications of Brihaspati, who was the spiritual master of the demigods, because of his awareness of the supreme Brahman. Brihaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind, and therefore he was a most qualified Brahmana. Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for not properly respecting this Brahmana, who was their guru. Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon the demigods that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. When Brihaspati entered the assembly of the demigods, they and their king Indra took him for granted. Since he came every day, they thought they need not show. Since he came every day, they thought they did not need to show him special respect. As it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. Being very much displeased, Brihaspati immediately left Indra's palace. Thus all the demigods, headed by Indra, became offenders at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, and Lord Brahma, being aware of this, condemned their neglect. In a song we sing every day, Narottam Das Thakur says, Chakshudan Dilajai Janme Janme Prabhushai. The Guru gives spiritual insight to the disciple, and therefore the Guru should be considered his master life after life. Under no circumstances should the Guru be disrespected, but the demigods, being puffed up by their material possession, were disrespectful to their Guru. Therefore Srimad Bhagavatam advises, Acharya mam vijaniyan navan manyeta karhichit. Namartya buddhya yusuyeta. The Acharya should always be offered respectful obeisances. One should never envy the Acharya, considering him an ordinary human being. So this chapter, Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati. We saw in the previous verses that how Indra, puffed up with material opulence, he is the king of the heavens, the king of the devatas. And when his spiritual master Brihaspati appears in his sabha, in his assembly where all the demigods are seated, Indra neglects him, because here it is mentioned, he comes every day. So they did not give him any special respect that he deserves, because even though he comes every day, he is the spiritual master, he is the guru. So Indra neglects him, and Brihaspati gets offended, very rightly, and he disappears from that place. And because Indra has offended his guru, Brihaspati, so they lose the battle with the devatas, because the potency that we all carry within us, the potency, the shakti that we carry within us, both material and spiritual actually, is all coming from the Guru. So, yasya aprasadat na gati kuto api, yasya prasadan bhagavat prasado. If the Guru is satisfied, Krishna is satisfied. If Guru is not satisfied, Krishna is not satisfied. So because they displeased the Guru, they lost their power, and they lost the battle with the demons, and they were all injured. And here it is mentioned that Indra was surrounded by the devatas, but still he was unhappy. See, this is an important instruction for everyone who worships the devatas. We all worship the devatas, the different devatas of the material world, and we all want to please them so that they bless us with fortune, they bless us with wealth, they bless us with education, all these things. But here in this verse it is said Indra was surrounded. In verse number 13, it is mentioned that, sorry, not 13, it was verse number 17, that Indra was surrounded by all the devatas, but he still was not peaceful. And so we have to be very careful that we, when the spiritual master is properly treated, spiritual master is properly respected. And here Brahma recognized the qualification of Brihaspati which Indra failed to recognize. Brahma is telling, so this is another thing, because some people, we meet them very frequently. This holds true for everyone. Like Prabhupada writes in the purport, familiarity breeds contempt. So some people, if we meet them regularly every day, we don't realize how important or how elevated, exalted that person is. So because Indra was meeting him every day, he felt, yes, he's an ordinary man, but he was not an ordinary man. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vijnanera na bujaya. It is mentioned that a Vaishnava's actions, he may appear to be like an ordinary person. Like Krishna also, when he came to this material world, although he was completely spiritual, but Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that people, because manushim tanum ashritam, because I am assumed this manushim thing, people think me to be an ordinary person. So we must always remember that Guru and even all the devotees, they are special, and just because we are meeting them or seeing them every day, we should not think that they are ordinary. They are very, very special. Vijnanera na bujaya. Even the most intelligent person cannot understand the true qualification of a exalted soul. So Brihaspati is also an exalted soul. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that in the translation it is written, because of madness resulting from material opulence. Madness resulting from material opulence. So this is what happened to Indra, because he is a king of heaven. He lost his mind and he could not really understand his position and the position of the spiritual master. So like when Kunti is also praying in the same way, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edamana Madhav Puman. So for spiritual advancement or for being properly situated, grounded, it's very important that we have a higher perspective. And this higher perspective in life, what is life meant for? Who am I? I am so insignificant. I may be Indra. I may be a big person in this material world, having a big job, having a big bank balance, having a big designation. But actually I am very insignificant in front of my spiritual master, in front of Krishna. I am nothing. This understanding, this humility is lost when we are filled up with these four things. Like Indra was filled up with, he had both Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, practically everything Indra had. Janma means a good birth, in a good family. I'm very proud. I've been born of so and so, such and such country, in a big family, in a rich family. Janma, Aishwarya, you're filled with a lot of opulence, lot of wealth. It makes you proud. You lose your humility. Shruta, very beautiful. You come in the bodily concept of life. So you don't have higher perspective. And Shri. Shri means beauty. Shruta is education, Shri is beauty. Good education and good beauty. Good education, I'm very educated. So these are all material designations, because of which we don't understand our real constitutional position. I'm a pure spirit soul, contaminated by this material world, by the three modes of material nature. And I have to cleanse myself and go back to the spiritual world. That cleansing is the humility process. But by having Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribhir like Indra had, instead of getting cleansed, we become further contaminated, further dirty. That is why Krishna says that if somebody is really praying for me and I see that he is praying to me and I see that he is really genuinely sincere, my first blessing on him is I take away his Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. I take away his wealth, I take away his big position, big designation, everything I take away. This is a blessing by Krishna. People all over the world pray for this blessing, but Krishna says, if you want my blessing, I will take away all these things. This is my blessing. Why? Because these things will entangle us further in this material life. Prabhupada in that purports writes to this Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir that a person who is filled with these four things, he has a kind of a material satisfaction, kind of a rasa he gets. Materially is very sad. Everything is perfect in my life. Good birth, good education, good beauty, good bank balance, what else he needs? So when a person is in this situation, fully materially satisfied, then he cannot chant the holy name of the Lord feelingly. Because you're satisfied. So where is the need for God, God's holy name, to beg and crying for the Lord, give me shelter, give me protection? When a person feels that I have no shelter, I have nothing to protect myself, my only protection is Krishna, then only he'll be able to chant feelingly. But when you think that I have a lot of wealth to protect me, a lot of education to protect me, my degrees will protect me, if I lose a job, this degree will give me a job, or I have a good parentage, they'll protect me. So there's no need for Krishna's protection because these protections are there always. So that is why a devotee must live a very, very simple life with minimum requirements and completely depend on Krishna. Then he'll be able to chant nicely. Just like, and we should have faith. If Krishna is protecting and maintaining an animal who hasn't got any of these four things, if Krishna can maintain, protect, take care of an animal, an ant, an elephant, from the tiniest to the biggest, I am a human being, I am a more evolved soul, Krishna will definitely protect me. So Brihaspati was unhappy with Indra because he knew that Indra has got puffed up with this Janma Aishwarya, and that's why he left that place. And here Brahma is saying that 2-3 times he mentions, Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualifications of Brihaspati. Brihaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind. Again, it is written, Brihaspati was the most qualified Brahmana. So, we are also all supposed to be Brahmanas. In fact, we are supposed to be more than Brahmanas. We are supposed to be Vaishnavas. But a Vaishnava should also have the Brahminical qualification. All of us should have this Brahminical qualification because Vaishnavas are higher than. And what are the Brahminical qualifications? We all know, we have read it from the Bhagavad Gita. In the 18th chapter, Krishna gives a list of 9 qualifications that a Brahmana should have. Shamo, Damas, Tapa, Shaucham, Shantir, Arshavam, Evava, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Swabhavajam. These are the 9 qualifications, and all the devotees must remember this. Am I living up to the standard of a Brahmana? We all call ourselves Brahmanas, right? So if we are calling ourselves Brahmanas, am I having these 9 qualifications? So what are those qualifications? The first qualification, Shamo, means he's always peaceful. And what is a good definition of being peaceful? When will you be peaceful? When you are satisfied in every way, in each and the way life is, the way you are, the way things are unfolding in front of you, you are satisfied. You're satisfied with whatever possessions you have, little or more. You're not hankering after anything. Then you will be peaceful. This hankering, desiring, is what takes away the peace. Like you see the Kolavecha Sridhara, he had nothing practically. He was living by selling donnas made of banana leaf, dried banana leaf. How much will he earn? Selling donnas made of banana leaf. And in that also, whatever earning was there, he would give away 50% for the worship of Mother Ganges. With only 50% he was living. You see? And Chaitanya, and he was a pure devotee, but he was very happy, very satisfied. Yes, Krishna has blessed me with this much, and it is Krishna's blessing only, whatever I have, whether little or more. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him, Kola Vecha, you're living such a poverty-stricken life, you hardly have anything, you don't have a glass of drinking water, you don't have a proper shelter, his roof was leaking. He says, no, at least he had an iron glass. Nobody has an iron glass. Because he couldn't afford. He says, no, at least I have a glass, whatever it may be. And then his roof was leaking. He says, at least I have some roof. Birds don't even have a roof. When it rains, they get fully wet. Okay, it leaks, I go to that corner and I sit there. Then Mahaprabhu says, and he was so peaceful and satisfied. So today in the material world also we see that, sometimes if we have X something, if you have X possession, then I think if I only had a little more than this, then I'll be peaceful. Now I am not peaceful because this is not okay, that is not okay, I should have a little more. But when that little more also comes, we are still not peaceful because we want something more. That's why it is said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ateva Shanta. He is peaceful because he is Nishkam. Because when he has no material desires, he'll be peaceful. He's only thinking of Krishna. He's connected with Krishna. And then he is peaceful. As long as we are hankering, material life means being on the platform of hankering and lamenting. Hankering for what we don't have, lamenting for what we lost. But there's nothing to hanker, nothing to lament, because I have everything what Krishna has sent me. He has sent me with enough of everything, what is needed for me. So that is the first qualification. Being peaceful means always being satisfied. Whatever Krishna has given you. Knowing well that is enough for me. I don't need actually anything. And if I need anything more, Krishna will automatically give it to me. A child hasn't got to ask his father, mother, give me this, give me that. Before the child asks, the father, mother will give. Then the second is self-control. We all know we have to become, we have to control our senses. Brihaspati was very self-controlled, and self-control, as Prabhupada explains, not that we control our senses and do nothing, but we engage our senses in the service of Krishna. When we engage our senses in the service of Krishna, then the senses automatically become self-controlled. Like Haridas Thakur, his senses were so controlled that a prostitute came to disturb him and he was not disturbed at all. His senses were so perfectly controlled. So always self-control means engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. If we artificially try to control the senses, it is not possible. Like we have examples of great rishis, munis who tried to control the senses, but they couldn't. Shaubhari Muni, Vishwamitra Muni. But simply by chanting and hearing and engaging our senses in the service of the Lord, we can control our senses. The next is austerity. Actually, Brahmana means he should practice severe austerities. We have seen how Brahmanas would practice austerities in the previous ages, meditating for 50,000 years or meditating for 10,000 years. Those prachetas, how they did meditation for 10,000 years and so much. But our austerity is very, very simple. Waking up in the morning, attending the morning program, following the regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds. That's all our austerities are. Then purity. Purity means shaucham, the fourth quality of a Brahmana. He should be pure. The goal of life is to serve Krishna and to go back to the spiritual world. And we are here in the material world to cleanse ourselves, to purify ourselves. Because unless and until we are 100% pure and clean, we cannot go back to Krishna. 100% pure. It's like a spark. We are like the sparks. And Krishna is like the fire. The spark has, maybe small, we are small, but the spark has 100% fiery qualities of the fire. So we must remember this. I have to become 100% pure. It's not a small thing. It's a very big project. But it is possible. How do we become sent person? Right now is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Our heart is completely contaminated with Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. But we have to cleanse it. So our process of this is the most difficult thing, to become 100% clean from all these material contamination. Is not a simple thing. But the process is very simple if we take to it seriously. What is that process? Associating with the messages of the Lord. Because Lord's messages or Lord's holy name is cent percent pure. So if you simply contact something which is cent percent pure, you also become cent percent pure. So this faith we must have. Actually, if you look at it from a separate vision, I have to become cent percent pure. Yes. Prabhupada says, even if you're 99.9% pure, there's no getting Krishna. You'll be 100% pure. So it's very difficult. But it's very easy, because there's something that is 100%, you just touch that. You get 100%. Like the iron rod and the fire example. An iron rod is just iron. But the same iron rod, when kept inside fire, and is in contact with fire, the iron rod becomes red hot. It becomes fiery. It becomes actually completely fire. It no more, after being in contact with the fire, it no more behaves like an iron rod. The iron rod is completely transformed. It gives up. It becomes fire. You take the iron rod and touch anywhere, instantly it will burn that place. See how the iron rod got transformed to fire? Similarly, we are unclean like the iron rod right now. We simply have to contact Krishna properly. If you contact Krishna, iron rod, if you keep in the fire, take it out. Keep in the fire, take it out. Or pour water. It will not. If the iron rod is inside the fire, for sure it will get transformed. So this faith we must have. I have to become 100%, but there's a very simple way. So once we have read many times in Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada says that if only a small percentage of people become Krishna conscious, sometimes he says 1%, sometimes he says 10%, like that in different contexts, the whole world will become Krishna conscious. If only a small percentage of people take to Krishna consciousness. And he also says that not everyone can take to Krishna consciousness, only a small percentage can take to Krishna consciousness. And then it is also says, Prithivite ate jato nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hobe moraina. It also says the whole world will actually become Krishna conscious. So once a disciple goes and asks Prabhupada, you have said these things, so how do we understand? Will only because Krishna consciousness, like Prabhupada explains, a diamond. Everybody cannot buy a diamond. You need a price for a diamond, which only few people have. So similarly, KC is a diamond, the jewel, which not everybody can understand. Only a small fractional percentage will take to it and understand. So Prabhupada, will only a small percentage of people become Krishna conscious and pure, or the whole world will become Krishna conscious and pure? What is the answer, Prabhupada? Prabhupada says, it depends on your purity. If you are pure, one person can make the whole world Krishna conscious. You don't need a small percentage also. One devotee can make the whole world Krishna conscious. Ekas chandras tamo hanti na chatara sahasrasaha. It all depends your purity. If you're pure, you preach, whole world will become. If you're not pure, you preach, a small fraction will take to it. So purity, we must always remember our internal purity is the most important. Like those four things, Prabhupada says, books, purity is the force. That's a final thing. Books are the basis, utility is the principle, purity is the force, preaching is the essence. Preaching will come properly when the purity is there. So next, fifth quality, he is very tolerant. A Brahmana is very tolerant. Just like you see Parikshit Maharaj, he was wrongly cursed by Shringi, Shamika's son, for a very small, act, which was not wrong on his part. He was wrongly cursed, and he could counter curse, but still he tolerated. Actually, Parikshit Maharaj's example of tolerance, there are so many examples, but his tolerance we must always remember. A king could tolerate when he was wrongly cursed, and he had the power to counter curse. No, this is the Lord's plan. I'll go by it. There's another thing that devotees must always remember. I must be tolerant in whatever I'm facing. I generally we tend, why this happened to me, it should be like this. We apply a logic. And we say, no, I must do this, I must do that, I must inform this person, I must inform that person, he has wrongly acted. No, in tolerance, there is no logic. He did this to me, yes, maybe it's my karma. Maybe I was destined for this. Because nothing can happen without the will of the Lord. Anything happens to us, we think, why did he do like this? No, he did like this because the Lord sanctioned it. That's why Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Shunichena Taroriva Saishna, more tolerant than the tree. It's a very good example. And he says, you must always remember this. Wear this verse around your neck means never forget it. Like a Kanthi Mala, we have to wear this verse. Trinadapi Shunichena Taroriva Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadhai. Only then you can chant properly. We all want to improve our chanting, right? We should ask ourselves the question, am I becoming tolerant to all the things that's going on around me? Or every time I'm asking for logic, I'm asking for reason, I'm asking why this happened to me, why that didn't happen to me, why I was actually more qualified for this and this was not given to me, this was given to someone else. No, just be tolerant. Because whatever is being given to you, whatever you need to get will be given to you. Then the sixth one is honesty. Prabhupada, so many places, a devotee should be thoroughly honest. No underhand, no duplicitous behavior. Never lying. Always straightforward. Like it says that even if a very strong example to understand how honest we should be, never lie. That if a thief comes to a Brahmana's place, and asks the thief, where are your property, where is your possession, Brahmana will reveal everything. Yes, my property is, you want, you take it. That is the level of honesty. No duplicity, never lying. In all aspects, we must remember this. We should not be having two personalities. Some places I can lie, and sometimes we lie saying this is Krishna's service only. It is very dangerous. It has to be applied properly. Better don't apply. Otherwise you will get wet. There are many quotes of Prabhupada where he says you should be thoroughly if you analyze properly all the quotes of Prabhupada, he wanted 100% honesty and straightforwardness from a devotee. Because if you're not honest internally, if you don't speak, it is what you are internally is what you are finally. In that pastime of Bali Maharaj and Shukracharya, Bali gave his promise that, you take 3 steps of land to Vaman Dev. And then Shukracharya realizes, Vishnu only has come to take away all his land. So Shukracharya advises Bali, you take away that promise. You withdraw your promise. That I'll give you 3 steps of land because he'll take away the whole universe and you will be left with nothing, I'll be left with nothing. So Bali Maharaj says, I gave a promise. How can I be dishonest? I cannot be called a liar. And then in that purport it is written, in the Bhagavatam it is written that Mother Earth is holding so many mountains, so many oceans. Mountains are very heavy, right? Oceans are very heavy. It is written that Mother Earth can bear the weight of mountains, can bear the weight of oceans without any discomfort. no problem. Many of them are there. But Mother Earth cannot bear the weight of one person who is dishonest. Cannot bear the weight of one liar. Because it's a burden. That's the real burden. Being dishonest is the real burden in our heart. In all our actions with everyone, whether it's a small person or a big person, we must be completely transparent and straightforward and honest. So that's honesty. And then jnanam, vijnanam, astikyam. A Brahmana has knowledge. He hasn't got only knowledge, he has realized knowledge. That is vijnanam. And astikyam. Astikyam means he has full faith in the protection, in the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows, avashya rakshibe Krishna vishwasa palan. For him, God is not just a theory. God means he has completely realized God is there. It's like a child. He's never afraid because his father is there. So these are the 9 qualifications of a Brahmana, which Brihaspati had, which we must also have. We must remember this. This is a verse from the Gita. We must try to meditate on this and remember this and pray to Krishna to help us come. And if you chant Hare Krishna nicely, all the qualifications will come. That is also said. But while we are chanting, we must also parallelly, consciously try to inculcate these values in us. And towards the end of the purport, Prabhupada is writing another important thing, that Indra took Brihaspati for granted because he came every day. They did not show him special respect. As it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. So, taking something for granted, taking some person for granted. So now you may say, no, I have not taken Prabhupada for granted. Like Brihaspati, Indra took his spiritual master for granted, did not show respect. Now, we will say, no, we show respect to Prabhupada, right? We never show disrespect to Prabhupada. In one sense, we will offer our obeisances, and if Prabhupada is there, anytime we enter the temple or any place we see Prabhupada's deity, we will fall flat, offer obeisances, and we are so respectful for Prabhupada, all of us. But actually, taking spiritual master for granted like Indra took has another meaning of it. One is taking him for granted, and the other is taking spiritual master's instructions for granted. So Prabhupada has said so many things about what constitutes real spiritual life, and we must remember them. The entire morning program cannot be taken for granted. Every part of the morning program is very important. Otherwise, why did Prabhupada give it to us? So if the simple things that Prabhupada gave us, if you are unable to follow, coming for Mangalarti, coming for chanting, attending Guru Puja, attending class, if we don't follow this, we are actually taking Prabhupada for granted. We may not be taking him for granted in that sense, paying obeisances and things like that, but taking instructions of the spiritual master for granted is as good as taking spiritual master for granted. The most important instruction is his morning program. If you don't do the morning program properly, then if there's no taste coming in that morning program, how do we know that, okay, I'm developing a taste or not? Your attendance is what matters. If unavailable in the temple for some reason, at least online. But actually, if you're in the temple, it should be in the temple, it should not be online. Being in the temple and online is also taking for granted. So reading his books 1 hour every day, making an effort to chant 16 rounds nicely, rendering all the services that he has given us, balancing the temple life. Sadhana, reading, chanting, services, everything should be balanced. Not overdoing one thing at the cost of other, and then overdoing something else at the cost of other. Everything should be done in proper balance. So, these are the few things mentioned in the purport, and then Prabhupada, the purport ends that, Guru should be considered his master life after life. So, Prabhupada is our master, and Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriyo Aika. The words of the spiritual master have to make it one with my heart. What Prabhupada said, I should be very, very seriously following it. Otherwise, I am taking it for granted, and then we lose our spiritual qualifications. So these are the few things. We will end here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.